Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today, and welcome to the Elder Scrolls 6 Wishlist series, a series designed to help dictate the future of the Elder Scrolls franchise. Every Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we plant our butts here and discuss how we can improve Elder Scrolls 6, what we love about Bethesda Game Studios, what we want to see change, and so on. So be sure to sound off in the comments down below of what you want to see, and today we are talking about the types of weapons. Now, I did talk about unique weapons and armor and how they need to emphasize the unique aspect of them. I also discussed combat overall, but weapon types is something that we have not discussed on this franchise, and I think it's very important. So we're going to be talking about how weapons should differentiate, how crafting can be implemented, and so on. Beginning with Denver January, who says it's time to discuss weapons. We need ranged melee weapons. I love throwing knives and throwing axes, and I agree with this so much. These type of wishes remind me of when we did the Fallout 4 wishlist series. I know we said there should be makeshift weapons in Fallout 4, and we were always talking about how a bow and arrow would make so much sense in Fallout, and they never did it. This is the same type of idea for Elder Scrolls. Why there aren't throwing knives and throwing axes, especially when you have the Dark Brotherhood. Throwing knives makes so much sense, and especially when you're a Nord, throwing axes makes so much sense in Skyrim. Why they weren't there, I don't know. It just gives us other options in combat. I think of it this way, where in Fallout 4 they actually added a grenade button, and in Elder Scrolls 6 they could add a throwing button, so we could in mid-combat throw a knife, throw an axe, something along those lines. Or just if we're sneaking around, we don't have to switch to the bow. We can use our throwing knife to stealthily take them out and continue with our dual blades or whatever we have currently equipped. Some may argue what's the difference, because you could just use your bow and arrow. I guess it's just variety, right? It gives us more options, it gives different play styles, it gives us different ways to role play, and I think that's what's important, is within the gameplay to give us options to fuel the character we're building. Nonetheless, great comment, and let's move on to two comments that combine just right. GBag34 says, we should look at weapons next, specifically customization and variety. I think it would be cool to be able to engrave your weapons or something of that nature, things that add your personal touch to your trusty blade, axe, hammer, etc., especially considering much of the game involves sticking to a certain weapon for large chunks of time. Even if there was a small set of skins or themes you could unlock like Fallout 4 and the power armor paint, just something that isn't paint. Maybe you could smith, for example, an ebony sword, and you could use different mixes of materials that result in a different look in the weapon, more ebony ingots, and the blade would be darker, that kind of thing. Just some thoughts, please don't hate me. Tailing on that comment is Typhlanders LOL, who says, I would like the weapons crafting from Fallout 4, like with bows and sights or carved symbols with a bonus. So let's revert back to Skyrim. There was a crafting section where you could make your own weapon and you could enchant it, you could rename it, and add to some degree your own personal touch. Now, when going through the comments, a lot of you guys were suggesting that the customization for weapons that Elder Scrolls 6 should inherit is Mount and Blade 2, Bannerlord, and their crafting system for weapons is fantastic. As you're watching in the background, it's all different parts of the blade, the weight of the blade, which results in different types of swing speeds, the length of the blade, the damage, the cut, the bone damage, how much it pierces, and so on. And this results in personal touches on the hilt, the handle, the blade itself, and so on. When I saw this, it seemed like a match made in heaven for Elder Scrolls 6, and a perfect way to follow up some of the customization introduced in Fallout 4 with its own weapon crafting system. I don't think skins or themes would fit well in Elder Scrolls 6, but I do think that yes, he's on the right track of different types of customization to add your own personal touch to it. Something like engraving, which was mentioned in other comments as well, would be really cool. Adding sights to bows was also a nice touch into terms of weapon customization that I think would be a great fit, but the best point made in these sets of comments was when GBag said, especially considering much of the game involves sticking to a certain weapon for large chunks of time. And when he said that, it clicked with me and I thought, wow, that is so right, that I'm always using that same weapon in Fallout or Elder Scrolls, and it's not like a Borderlands where there's a new weapon around every single corner that's constantly keeping you upgrading and getting that refreshing loop in the game. To be able to add personal touches, like for example changing how the blade looks or engraving your initials on it or something along those lines, or like in Elder Scrolls Skyrim, renaming it, are important things that I think keep the game moving forward and making this weapon feel like yours, making it feel fresh, while it's not constantly giving you a brand new weapon every 5 seconds, because Elder Scrolls really isn't that type of game. Obviously, I'm saying this while including the other standard mechanics that we've come to expect, such as upgrading the weapon, enchanting it. But yes, the types of weapons we use, the customization involved in those weapons is all very important. It fuels our gameplay style, it fuels our role playing, the character we're building. It is so important to have so many options when it comes to weapons. We do have to keep in mind though that while we had this in the unique weapons and armor discussion video, that those are definitely going to have to come into play and be truly unique to fuel different styles of gameplay and role playing, and also to add that variety to weapons. Nonetheless though, it seemed that the conversation in the comments was taken in the direction of weapons, so I'm curious to see where you guys take it in the comments now. So let's see what you guys have to say down below. Once again, every Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll sit down and discuss what we should see, what we want to see in the Elder Scrolls 6. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook. The links are down below in the description box. Other than that, check out TriggerBomb.com, the place by Bethesda fans for Bethesda fans. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.